Guys, today we'll be continuing our series where we will look at the polar animals. So 15 million years from now, Earth is very different. The life forms are very different. Creatures have and gone extinct and evolved to replace said extinct species. However, in the far north near the North Pole in North America, as that's the area that's closest to the North Pole, also parts of Siberia as well, but the climate doesn't really extend that far. And actually boreal forest dominates that landscape as well. We already covered the Great Plains and savannas of North America. The upper Great Plains is of course different animal. There could be also different animals in the mountain regions obviously as well. Appalachia, so which is actually now a separate area because of the sea levels rising as well, giving a east and west coast separate animals as well. And also new volcanic islands forming, and we could also talk about the life on those new volcanic islands, even the very far north volcanic islands that are basically at the North Pole as well. But this is the mainland life forms. The mainland life forms basically all live in basically Siberia and North America. They don't really expand that far because the Earth is far warmer than it is now, and they mostly exist in the north of the north. They get several weeks of total darkness and several weeks of sunlight as well. And we'll be looking over all of the creatures of the North Pole, excluding the island creatures that live on the islands as well. But the polar night, which causes weeks to months of near total darkness where the sun doesn't arrive as well. Yeah. Anything in the Arctic and Antarctic circles, which is what these creatures live in, well, that's the life they exist in. These are creatures that live here permanently and do not migrate down further south towards the US. The boreal forest, well, it's less. First is the Squickersquack. This is a strange creature, as it's not a crocodile or alligator, it's actually a cetacean. 20 million years ago, after the mass extinction, mini mass extinction because of the massive warming that occurred, the cetaceans saw available niches on the land raised by predators. Creatures, descendants of narwhals and beluga whales, and also bottlenose dolphins, have went into normal rivers. However, a few have found ways to live mostly on land, very similar to their ancestors as well, which used to already live on land. However, these Squickersquacks are not that big compared to their water relatives. They're still around 5 to 8 feet long, and they can weigh up around 400 to 600 pounds. Not as big as the cetaceans in the water, but they are still some of the apex predators of the land. Then we have the Boister. Yes, this is a Pikmin 3 and 2, and I think 4 weapons, because I think they're all in the games. These strange creatures slurp up microorganisms and also snow ants as well. The largest genera and species, where these creatures can be found anywhere. But we have the Arctic version as well, which is actually the smallest of species. Unlike the other Boister relatives, these creatures get their moisture from snow and hibernate during the summer as well. They're able to tolerate very, very cold temperatures and can be around 7 inches to around 1 foot and 3 inches long, and can weigh up around 7 to 12 pounds. Then we have the Ninusrue. These creatures live basically year-round in the Arctic. They are the primary food source for many larger predators if they can't find any herbivores. These creatures are overly abundant and they breed very, very fast. However, these creatures can only really survive in the extreme cold, as these creatures are poorly adapted for the warmer areas. They mostly feed on ice ants as well, without a primary food source for these creatures, and also other small bugs that appear during the summer as well. Then we have the Arctic shrew-men. Shrew-men are larger shrews. Oh yeah, also these creatures are basically the size of lemmings. Yep, they're basically like the same size. Arctic shrew-men are around 2 to 3 feet tall and can be up to around 4 feet tall. However, these creatures mostly feed on ice ants. Ice ants are the primary source of this creature. However, they also are willing to eat small birds that also migrate in the winter and also eat lichen and many plants as well. Yeah, they are a generous creature and eat anything as well. Yeah, they're also the favorite snack of many predators as well as, however, they're still very hard to spot. Then we have two Arctic relatives of the creatures we talked about last episode, and that is the Arctic Adolphosaur and the Arctic Spiketail, two predators. Arctic spiketails are slightly smaller than the boreal species, and also the species in the Great Plains as well. This is besides the island species, these are actually the smallest species in North America. These species can be around 2 to 4 feet long and can be around 77 pounds to 115 pounds. However, they are just as deadly as their relatives. Then we have the Arctic Adolphosaur. So these creatures hibernate during the winter. They are one of the top predators as well, and they mostly ambush in water when it's summer, and they hibernate in the winter. These animals are able to eat various types of large herbivores as well, and they also eat plants as to gather nutrients so they can survive the harsh winters, which can reach in the negatives as well. Then we have the giga weasel, the top predator of the area. Weasels have been able to spread, and yeah, these Adovosaurs are basically the same size as the Adovosaurs in the Great Plains. So yeah, we have the giga weasels. Weasels, are not are lower on the predatory food chain as well. These are descendants of ermines, which are already weasels that are found in the Arctic Circle as well. Yeah, or the stoat. That's basically its relative as well. The sword-tailed weasel, stoat, or the ermine have basically evolved into this large creature as well. It's not. It doesn't really recognize. It's not really. It doesn't really look a lot like its ancestors, as it has gotten much larger as well. These animals can reach up to around 11 feet long and can weigh up to around 500 to 600 pounds, and are one of the apex predators of the Arctic Circle. Then we have the Neo reindeer. These are one of the last deer species. These species range from Scandinavia to North America. These animals can be around 300 to 450 pounds and are around the same size as a modern reindeer, basically. Then we have the Arctic. Then we have the Arctic Bananac. These are large birds. These are small birds that live year round. There are many migratory birds that live here. However, the Blackanack live here yearly and eat the lichen and plants on the ground, and also are prolific scavengers as well. They have basically taken the niche of vultures and are around a similar size to turkey vultures today. So basically, they're the same weight and same class as the turkey vulture as well. They will fly for hundreds of miles in winter and summer, going to look for meat to eat as well. And we have the two bird predators. We have the ice hawk. The ice hawk, they live year round. They're not migratory like many of the birds that come here. Like, for example, gigantic parrots that come here that are predatory, and ice owls that are not really native to here, but they just migrate. However, the ice hawk is permanent. They breed during the summer, and they hide in small and small burrows, which are usually they steal from dead from the dead. These guys as well, and also other creatures that dig burrows as well. They use that to survive the harsh, you know, weather in the winter. And these creatures are on the same size as a bald eagle as well here. And then we have the ice stalker, a giant killer parrot. Yes, these species have also adapted to the Arctic as well. Well, forgive my terrible drawing skills, obviously, but these creatures are very dangerous as well. They only come out at night and only in the summer. They also hibernate in the winter as well here, creating giant burrows so they can sweep out the winter. They also hibernate with the eggs, and then they can have babies in the summer. And then we have another strange creature. We have the armorback. No, this is not an armadillo, as armadillos are mostly found in South America, which is now isolated as well. But this is a giant relative of several rodents that lived in the Arctic. They have grown massive. They are able to eat any types of plants and can also and when it is threatened, they can go into the cell like a turtle and wait out it. And they also move very slowly. However, they are around 20 to 25 feet long and can weigh up to around 15 to 17 tons, amongst one of the largest mammals in all of existence. They're just as large, I think, or even larger than the largest living land mammals today, as well. And rodents have basically made it their own world, as well. But out of the largest land animals, these are amongst the largest land mammals in the world as well. Yeah. Compared to modern day, compared to Paracephalium, they are also just as big. But they're not as tall as Paracephalium, but their cell weighs a lot. And they're one of the most heavily armored creatures in the world. Then we have the ice gobbledont. They have a small horn on their head they use for defense as well. They are related to, of course, the American opossum, and these animals live in small groups of three. They don't really live in large herds like the deer do, or the ice sheep. Yeah, but they also feed mostly on the grasses as well, and they also have a small hump for reserves in the winter, as basically it's like surviving in the desert as well. And gobbledonts have been able to adapt to all sorts of environments as well. Then we have the ice sheep, or these animals may look like donkeys, but they're actually relatives of domestic sheep, which have been great survivors and have done quite well across all continents. These animals have a thick layer of wool to survive the winter. They live up to groups of for 70 to 80 and are on the size of domestic sheep. The reason why they are listed here is because, despite them not changing much from their domestic relatives, they, however, do develop thick wool to survive the winter. However, they do get rid of the wool in the summer and spring months. Oh yeah, and also these guys are the same size as the gobbledonts in the plains. Then we have the ice ants. They are the size of basically the normal ants, basically, and they are the main food source of several smaller predators, including ice gokids, which are basically the same size as gokids, but they're, a different color. And also the shrews, and of course, these guys here. They are the main food source of many of these also birds as well here. And yeah. Then we also have the rectotens. These are large birds that basically feed on grasses as well. They also can fly away very, very quickly once a bird or creature tries to kill them. These animals have a wingspan of around 6 to 7 feet long and can fly very fast, around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Oh yeah, I think we didn't say, yeah, these guys are basically the same size as the plains parrots. The giant killer parrots, yeah, scary. And then we have two animals here. These are the descendants. First is a Nicanor bovis. These are descendants of modern day cattle. though, which were released by humans on all continents. Cattle have kind of struggled with the climate change. However, a few hardy species have survived and have gone drastic changes. These Numo cattle basically have giant horns on their head that are used to scare off predators and used to fight for mates as well. This is a male bull. However, these animals are only around 5 to 7 feet long and are very similar in size and stature to antelope as well. Yeah. Then we have the quintelope. Yes, these are relatives of antelope from Africa. Few antelope species have survived and have actually done quite well. Yeah, they fill a similar ecological needs to horses. They can also run very very fast and also have small horns on their head or crests that are not used for combat. They're used to basically intimidate others as well. They also live in herds of 8 to 10, kind of like these guys live in herds of small herds as well. Then we also have, yeah, these guys are the same size as the second antelope. Then we have the Copriorestes. These are the egg thieves. These species steal bird eggs as well, and they're actually descendants from a unique group of birds from Papua New Guinea, the birds of prey. No, not birds of prey, birds of paradise. They have spread to other continents and other areas, and majority of birds of paradise have mostly been found on Papua New Guinea. However, a few have survived and have extended past Papua New Guinea, and now there's even an Arctic species as well. They're on the size of most of the birds of paradise, but it's easy to see how they got here as well. Then we have the Arctic roo. This is a relative of the kangaroo from Australia. They have babies in the pods as well here, and they eat many plants as well, and they also live in small groups like modern day kangaroos. These animals are on the same size as the red kangaroo and are more adapted for an Arctic environment. Then we have the Corson mammoth. These are distant relatives of Asian elephants that have survived. And basically, proboscideans have basically adapted into a few niches. However, they have been outcompeted by giant rats and giant shrews as well. These animals basically fill a similar niche to the woolly mammoth and even have a giant hump on their back. These animals are around 15 to 17 feet long and weigh up to around 10 to 15 tons. Then we have the largest animal here. We have the Kappa rhino, another rodent relative. Kappa rhinos are found throughout Eurasia, but are now starting to make their way towards North America. These large rodent-like creatures are basically are also very large. They are around 20 to 30 feet long and weigh around 14 to 18 tons as well, and are large, gigantic creatures that mostly live in the Arctic Circle as well. And yep, that is it. There aren't very many creatures in the Arctic Circle, as they have to be very, very hardy to survive here. However, the Arctic ecosystem has rebounded from the desecration that humanity has done to it, and now hosts a new many new forms of strange life forms in the Arctic Circle. Goodbye.